Good evening, everybody. Welcome to La Coruña, to the Casas Novas Equestrian Centre here in Spain. We are on the northern coast of this amazing country at one of the world's great equestrian venues. Of course, here in the summer, when we were outdoors, we enjoyed the FEI Jumping European Championships of 2025. Now very much into the winter edition, the 25th anniversary of this fabulous venue as well. And of course, we are very much ensconced in the Western European League, and come Sunday it will be leg 5 of the series of the 13 rounds that will qualify riders to go to Fort Worth in Texas in April of next year for the final. Tonight it is the qualifier, the first big class on a Friday night, with just over 105,000 euros in the prize fund and a world-class list and a whole host of top stars that have enjoyed jumping here at the likes of Coruña in the past. And of course there's plenty of home talents as well. You can see a couple there for Spain, but some of the bigger names. Robert Whittaker, of course, last year with Vivento second here in the World Cup round itself. Leopold van Asten, another rider that has had a lot of success. In fact, he won this class back in 2019. Philip Schulte-Toffhoff, another former winner of a World Cup leg here in the past. British riders, Joe Stockdale, Jack Whittaker, Dennis Lynch in the mix as well this evening. He's another former Grand Prix winner here, as you can see. Rodrigo Castillo-Almeida, of course, a rider that's sitting quite well after his very good finish in the World Cup leg in Stuttgart a few weeks back. Simon Deleste, another rider that has had plenty of success here in the past. He won the Grand Prix back in 2021. Olivier Robert is a rider that won this class back in 2018. Michael van der Vleuten, of course, a winner already here today, and a former winner of this class, and a former winner of the World Cup. He's done it all before. And then into the back end of the draw, you can see the likes of Peter de Vos and Edwina Tops-Alexander, of course, a two-time winner, 2017, 2018 of the World Cup leg here. Max Kuda has always gone well. Olivia Peru has already won in Leon on the circuit so far. The course designer tonight is Santiago Valera, the Spanish international designer, a man of Olympic legacy. Of course, he has designed now at 2 Olympic Games, and he has set this track with a time allowed of 76 seconds. It is one round of jumping faults and time combine. Let's get underway. It's a packed house. It's a fabulous place to be. It is just one of the most stunning indoor arenas, and it is a packed house. It's a very select few. It's such a popular place to come. They love the sport here in Spain, and this fabulous community. It's a real social affair as well. Going to kick things off with our first partnership out in front of us tonight for the CaixaBank Trophy. We're going to start with Dominic Ferreira then for Switzerland. I think we're just about good to go, and he's got Ghost with him this evening. What have we got? In the end, there should be 49 of them coming forward in this class tonight. Starting with this 14-year-old Dutch gelding by Lord Zed. Arrives here after a few outdoor events, having already been jumping in Spain in Villa de Frontera and also in Italy. The horse actually, though, has had quite a bit of time off over the summer, but it's good to see them back. It's a competitive partnership, and it'll be interesting just to see how this course begins to work tonight. To that little fence on the end now, comes back into the double, one stride. Round to the combination, upright, one stride, parallel, two strides, parallel. Nicely done on the 6 down to the corner. It's jumping a really smart round at the moment. Coming back across the middle, Now the turn back to 11. He's come on the inside line. It's a long old run down to 12, and then you turn back and 13's there in front of you. Up and over the last, and starting with a clear is a good way to start from Dominic's point of view and from ours as well. Clear round for the first to go. 73.55. We're going to see quicker, no doubt about it, but always solid when a class starts with a clear, and that was good to watch. More chances from the Swiss to come in due course. Right, let's fire our way up the world rankings to the world number 5, to the young man from Belgium, Gilles Thomas. Another quite brilliant year, of course. A brilliant bronze individually and a team gold medal right here in Coruña at Casas Novas at the European Championships back in the summer. Of course, Belgium becoming the European team champions, of which he played an absolute key role. He's riding the 8-year-old tonight, Happy Landias. Bummy 8-year-old stallion by Andiamo. Jumped just the other week with this horse in Stockholm prior to coming here. Had that second place as well with this horse in Maastricht. A couple of the 4-star shows just been building up and building up nicely. More and more experience, more and more mileage on this horse. Jumping height tonight of 1.50 metre. Keeping that nice tight line. Again, gets the inside turn. Oh dear. It's going to be one of those back rails. It's a big, wide spread. I mean, it's 1.65 metre wide. And, of course, you're looking to turn back off it. And as soon as you start to shift the weight and the balance, that is always going to be the risk. Obviously, he was a little bit faster than we saw from Dominic. But, yes, it's a score of 4. But it's a partnership that just, continued to build. He's got the most amazing stable of horses. No question about it. One of the best. And that is a horse that will play a massive role, I'm sure, going in to 2026. And up to pause the countdown for obvious reasons while pre-flight checks are made. Jane Richard is the next to go, the Swiss star. She's always enjoyed coming here. We can go back to, what was it, 2016 when she finished second in the World Cup leg. The very first year the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round was held here at Coruña in Casas Novas. She finished second behind Carlos Enrique Lopez, the Colombian rider. This is Molly Malone's at 13, the mare by Milo Cartago. Ooh, she just looked like she was, beginning. Dear. Everyone's okay. Just almost looked like she was just getting a little bit away from the movement of the horse, going through the combination. Just not quite in tune, in balance, and perhaps that then ultimately is what brought the horse to a halt once they got to the fence down the far end, which is a shame. Started off really positively. I think she's just... Has she put her hand up? Or is she going to continue? No, I think she's put her hand up, personally. Yeah, horse is unsettled. She knows that. She doesn't want to have any issues. Says not today. So bad luck, Jake. What a shame with Molly Malone Z. Yeah, it's a little bit jump forward in the saddle, and the balance has gone. It's just not going to work. But I'll tell you what has worked is Philippe Weishaupt's trips to Coruña in recent years, including last year. This, of course, the man that won the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup leg here in A Coruña 12 months ago. In fact, if you go back to 2022, he won the Grand Prix. He's got a great strike rate here in recent times. Tonight he's got Oreo DR. And of course, part of the Beerbum stables. Ludger's had his highs here. He's had a couple of third places over the years in the past in the World Cup round. This stallion by Canaan. Philippe has been in tremendous form on the global tour, including having that win in, oh dear, where was it? In Vienna. Just try to, I think, reset things a little bit here with Oreo. This class was won by Germany 12 months ago. Hans-Dieter Dreher, not, I haven't seen him here this year. But Hans, of course, who he won this class, and then he went on and won the Grand Prix on the Saturday night as well. And then, if I recall, he finished fourth in the World Cup. He did have quite a good trip to Spain. Philip is just schooling out the rest of the round, just setting Oreo up, perhaps for tomorrow now. Just calm, gentle, not worried about anything. Just making sure the confidence is there for the next day. So bad luck tonight. Philippe Weishaupt and Oreo just not quite working. So as it stands, we still just actually have the one clear round, and it came from the first to go. Dominic Ferrer out of the opening four. 73.55 is therefore still the standard. Next to go, Brazil. One or two chances for Brazil tonight. João Victor Castro, Agria Gomes de Lima. He's got this 11-year-old Kenzo Quality Z, the gelding by Canaan, is out of a Conair mare. Comes here fresh off the back of a brilliant win in a three-star Grand Prix here in Spain, down in Ivanova, back in the middle of November. So in fabulous form and got confidence on their side. They've had a decent run of results, but that was certainly the high. Ooh, just quite not able to get over the middle of the combination, just a little bit far away, and chips the back rail. There's a lot of fences out there for these riders, these horses, to be thinking about tonight. In fact, it's 16 jumping efforts. Still looking for a decent time on a score of 4, though, is Zhao. Reasonable time, 72.88, but also, like Gilles Thomas, on a score of 4, and he's a little bit slower than Gilles, so is into third place. So Victor Castro, 49 of them in all, coming forward in this CSI5 trophy. The qualifier for the World Cup on Sunday. The next leg of the Western European League. Lorenzo De Luca. Just asking for a little pause on the clock. What can he do? Denver de Telema. It's a lovely 12-year-old. It's been a beautiful ride for Lorenzo. The gelding by Vigela Sui. Denver was been a brilliant, as I say, ride for Lorenzo. Had a cracking start to the year out in Florida, but if I recall, had quite a bit of time off over the summer. Came back in Livanova just a few weeks ago. So this is the first part goes, second part goes. Once they were off stride coming in, they couldn't do much about the strides going through and coming out. And of course that material very, very light. And those back rails on the drop cups just completely falling away as they are designed to do. It always perhaps in so many ways sounds and seems very dramatic. And I'm not saying it isn't dramatic if you're sat up there in the saddle, but of course these poles so light, and of course the cups so shallow. One, it makes them hard to jump. If you tap them, they fall down. But it also obviously fabulously sort of goes a long way to the modern safety in the sport as well. You want things to be able to break away in front of you and the horse if you end up in that position. They're not ideal in terms of getting back up and running at this level. But he is going to go again. I think it's is he going to come back to the combination, or is he going to jump another fence? I think he is going to come back to the combination. I mean, Denver's experienced, and I think that's just about putting confidence again back in. Wants to make sure that Denver's not worrying. Just, reaffirms to them both. Okay, we got it wrong, but we get it right this time. It was a very good recovery in all things considered. Got Denver to the finish and jumped really positively. I mean, you look at that, he's picked up jumping in time, but make sure they finish on a high note with a positive end to the round. Bad luck tonight. He'll bounce back over the next couple of days, Lorenzo De Luca. Having a little look. Of course, still gone back over. Who wants to have a little look at the fence? Well, I was trying to work out where Oda had gone. Oda Charlotte Lillevert. It is the Norwegian rider next to go with Caramella van der Nien Z. Now, this 11-year-old mare is by Carrera VDL. And Oda, of course, riding here as an individual at the Europeans with this horse back in the summertime. Jumped very well in Oslo. 3 classes, all in the top 10, including the World Cup leg. But it's an early fence down tonight. taking jumping. As I've said before, there's a lot of fences out there and you've got to be awfully careful. I think it doesn't take a lot to finish on a score of 4, as they're beginning to prove. Oda finishing on 473.89. So that slightly steady approach at the beginning from Dominic Furrer and Ghost is currently paying dividends because he's still leading the way as the only clear round. Next to go, Villanueva, Candy Luck. Of course, the man that won the most recent leg as it is, leg of the World Cup Western European League season with the win in Stuttgart in November. Of course, this year we're down to, what, is it 13 legs, I think, of the season? Because of Madrid now being taken out. Anyhow, tonight he's got Candy Luck, the Comme il faut mare, the 10-year-old. He had a win with this horse in Lyon. He also had a very good win prior to Lyon in Livanova and also in Pierlebergen, and I mean the two of them have been in pretty decent form. And there's no doubting she's really stepped up, and he's pushing on rather quickly here. He's got a lovely rhythm to the way he rides and he's full of confidence at the moment. Ooh, and he's got luck. You know, when it's going your way, it's going your way. Many others will hit that pole like he did this evening and it'll probably fall down, but he managed to tap it on top and it didn't roll. That one did. Well, the luck ran out. Only so lucky. Candy Luck's time, though, gives us an indication of the sort of times you can come to look for. 67.50, the leading time at the moment, 73.55. As Villeneuve finishes with a single fence down. So Candy Luck Z on a score of 4. Obviously goes into second as best of the rest. Many, many more still to go. Next to go is Ima Roquet Uchinel. Actually jumped a cracking round here in the class just an hour or so ago. Best of the Spanish riders, and now with Evola del Massier, 10-year-old mare by Indret del Massier out of a Kidandaravel mare. Rode as a individual was the word I was looking for here at the finals of the Leon Jean Liga Nations in Spain in Barcelona. Jumped very well with this horse down in Valencia. Also had a win in Vera de Fontera. And all of that is in the last month. We're about to get another clear round. I think we are. We've got a new leading round, 71.52. Well done. What a day she's having. The Spanish rider is in fabulous form, and Evola de Massier has just jumped to the top of the leaderboard with Ima Roca Actunel. Has got this crowd on her side. As I say, brilliant round earlier on today. Best of the Spanish riders in that one. And then she's gone and Put herself in a fabulous place here already. Okay, again, I predict we will see quicker, but let's see what happens. Another rider that had a pretty solid performance a little earlier on today for Spain was this lady. Hugely experienced and part of the European setup this year, Teresa Pascal. Tonight with Nasa de Toxandria, her European Championship ride, in fact. This 12-year-old mare by Vitigo Saint-Benoit. And she's pushing on as well. As I say, there's over 100,000 euros on offer tonight. Oh no, last go, 70.13, she had the time. NASA, bad luck. That is such a shame. 70.13, over a second faster than Emaf, of course, for the moment goes fourth. Second best of those on four, still just 2 clear rounds at the moment. Next up, Great Britain. I mean, the British riders have gone well here. As I said earlier, I think it was earlier on, Robert Whittaker was second here last year in the World Cup. And of course, this class was a bit of a Harry Charles special as well. Harry, another rider that's, of course, a World Cup winner here in the past, Grand Prix winner in the past. He's won this class twice before as well. But now the turn of Matt Sampson. He'll have happy memories of Coruña, of course, who was Team Silver for Great Britain here in the summer. And this is some horse as well. He was first and second in 2 of the classes in Verona the last time out. It's Latte Macchiato. Sports horse, a 12-year-old by Pacino. This ride becoming part of Matt's string towards the end of the summer. And he's certainly no slouch when it comes to riding against the clock. Two to jump, 71.52 is the leading time. Oh, he got a beautiful stride now. Turn back to the last. He really does turn tight as well. Surely he's got this, and he has. Matt Sampson. Great Britain go to the top. Wow. What a combination those two are. Latte Macchiato and Matthew Sampson jump into the lead. As I said, Britain have got a great track record in this big class on a Friday in Coruña, and Matt Sampson could be about to continue that. It was a brilliant round of jumping, and he just rides with such confidence. What a partnership those two make. There's the order, 67.11 now. Of course, that's faster than Willem's time. Of course, he finished on a score of 4, but pushing us much more into what I think is going to be those sort of perhaps best times. We'll see though. Amanda Topati is next up. He had that brilliant third place a couple of years ago here in the World Cup leg. Tonight he's got Tornado VS, his super ride. 14 now, very experienced by Toulon. European Championship team ride back in the summer as well. He was, I think it was the top 6, wasn't he, in Verona in the World Cup leg. He had a pretty strong Verona. I think he was 6th on the qualifying day as well. Matt Sampson will have an awful long wait now. There's still 30 or 38 of them left to jump. And in fairness, he's coming under threat already because this is very fast. What a turn this is into the last. How quick is this? Wow, surely Spain goes straight back to the top. And it's 66.85. Matt Sampson didn't last long. Spain are back in front and they love Tornado Anamondo. And boy, oh boy, did he whistle round this arena like a little tornado. I mean, lovely round of jumping. But I think the way he turned into the last, he was able to land and turn perhaps just a fraction shorter than what Matt was. 66.85, I mean, there's not a huge amount in it. 0.3 of a second is all there is between the top two. Game on. Keep this going. Right, Noah Kellen next to go. Switzerland. This is Nesta. Nesta VDL. Sorry, VDL? VDR even. No, of course, as you can see on the screen, he's only 19 years of age. The Swiss with plenty of super young talents. Is he 19 or has he turned 20 now? I have a funny feeling he might have actually turned 20, but I'll be corrected. He was jumping this horse at the Young Rider European Championships earlier this year. As I say, he's really making a mark out of the youth category, stepping very much into the senior ranks of this sport. Twelve-year-old gelding by Houston. And he is certainly showing a lot of confidence, and he's set off with every intention of trying to catch Armando. Really showing their agility through the combination. Just a moment of composure. He knew what he needed to do, just settled the horse off the corner. Whether that's cost him, though, in terms of time, he will have given up a second or so. Oh, front rail. Yeah, he was giving up time in the back half of that course. He had to put a little bit of the brakes on, steadied things up. But, I mean, he's a super young rider. He'll be learning all the time. Nesta VDR. Lovely horse, great partnership the two of them have got. 75.18 on the clock and a score of 4. 4 clear rounds. Amante Patti leading the way. Matt Sampson second. Ima Roque Uchinel holding third. So it is Spain first and third, and Great Britain sandwiched in the middle. Next to go, Dutch rider Leopold van Osten, another rider actually that has won, if I'm right to say, he won this class in 2019. In fact, Leopold won the Grand Prix here back in, I think it was 2014. First year as a 5-star event, 2014. So certainly got plenty of happy memories of competing in A Coruña over the years. Tonight he's got VDL Group Nina de Roton, a 12-year-old by Ironman Van der Paderborn. These two were third in the Grand Prix in Livolden back in October. They then went to Maastricht, finished second in the big class on the Saturday night. Certainly gone for it. Very different way of riding the quarter to we saw from now. It was exactly what he needs to do if he wants to be competitive. But unfortunately, like others, he's on that score of 4. There's nothing he can do but try and be best of the rest. Ooh, last. Still sub 70, 69.55. So out of the top 10 already. That was Leopold Verhulsten then. He did have that down. Kept pushing around the corner and then he had the last down as well. Nothing changes. Great Britain sitting second. Great Britain go again with the man that finished second on the wonderful Vermento here 12 months ago in the World Cup round on that Sunday afternoon. He had a cracking World Cup season last year, of course. But it's also, if I'm right, I think I'm right when I say these things. I'll happily be corrected, but I'm sure it's 12 months pretty much to a week, give or take, that he started riding this amazing 19-now-year-old stallion, Gentleman Van Veldehoff. Of course, Rob Witt next up. Yes, owned by Caroline Blatchford, his fabulous owner. And he had a win here as well, I'm sure of it, in Coruña on the Saturday in the first of the 5-star classes last year as well. So, and this is a lovely horse. Of course, it was the horse as well that he won the world-famous Hickstead Derby, the Altura Derby, back in the summer. Rob's had quite a year in terms of winning the majors at Hickstead. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely brilliant turn. 66.85. That's the time to beat. He's not going to be far off either, is he? He's turning back into the last. He's a little bit behind, but it's a superb round from Robert Whittaker to go third behind Matthew Sampson with a beautiful Gentleman Van Veldehoff. Clear round number 5 goes into third, and it's now Spain, Great Britain, Spain in terms of the top 4, but the round of Armando Tapote still leading on Tornado. Wilma Helmström goes next, first for Sweden here tonight. And this is the lovely mare Sissi BJN. That's by Sissi Senior Ask, Swedish mare. And of course the lady that rode this horse here in Coruña was also part of the medal-winning team in the San Siro 2 years ago at the European Championships. This combination had a little bit of time off since jumping in Lyon, where they finished 6th in the World Cup leg, the second leg of the season. Gets away with that. She's not far away either. They're going to start compacting in terms of times towards the top of the order. It's not quick enough for the lead, but it splits the Brits because Sweden's Ilna Helmström going clear, going third. Podium for the moment, 67.97. So slots in behind Matt Sampson ahead of Robert Whittaker, and that's how it stands at the moment. And just start to get that feeling. I mean, there's still over 30 to go. It's going to be one of those where it is going to come down to just tiny little moments, fractions of a second because as the times begin to get closer and compact, if you're going later on, you really are at the whim of a tenth or two of a second. Now, the rider for Liechtenstein, 22 years of age, and this is Jennifer Hurstatter with Winnie2 de la Jimenez Z. It's been a wonderful partner to her over the last year or two. At that winning the Grand Prix at Centaur in October, set them up for the indoor season. Really confident, making up the distance. Sadly not tonight. Well, on the 8 with 2 to jump. Turning back into the final fence now. Yeah, that has gone. It's a total of 12 at the moment. And a time penalty. So, Jennifer Hurstatter, Winnie2 de la Jimenez Z then on 13 as a final score for that combination for Liechtenstein. Amanda Trapatte, Matt Sanson, Wilma Helmston, Robert Whitaker, Ima Roquette, Uchinel and Dominic Ferrer. Those are your top 6, and your top 6 are all the clear rounds. Now, we have another... There's the order. That's like magic. Pénélope Levrevos, one of the greatest French riders of her generation, and of course a Olympic team gold medal winner and a absolute star of international jumping, one of the sport's leading ladies. And Balibet de Talma, the horse she rides here this evening by the great Balibet Drouet out of a Centaur mare, this gelding now 14. Jumped very well in the World Cup leg in Lyon back in November. It's got a lovely big stride and really does cover the ground. She's not going to be quick enough though to challenge those leading combinations, but she could yet, just about got over that back rail, she could yet jump a nice clear round, which for the moment could install her, of course, in the top 6 quite easily, and that it has indeed. 6th place from Pénélope Levrevos and Balibet de Talma. So into 6th, looks pretty happy with the way the well, Spain up next. Going to be Alvaro González de Zarata Fernandez to join us with Casa Diva PS. Of course, Spain leading the way. Amanda Trapatte out in front at the moment. This is a 10-year-old mare by Cascalo, part of the Nations Cup team in Villa da Frontera back in October, which finished 4th. And of course, he also, I mean, when the European Championships were held here in Casas Novas in A Coruña back in July, there was a 3-star competition, 3-star international that ran alongside it. So the riders if they wished to, could bring other horses. It all gave the Spanish riders some other chances to come as well. And it was a superb, really competitive, really high quality event. These two won the speed, the Table C. So let's see what happens. And from the way he started, he's come with one clear intention. As we get on down this combination, he's going to have to balance up as well when he gets to the other end. Oh, she's a lovely mare. She's having a really nice time. You can see her ears pricking forward when she gets to the fences. Really low, dear. No, no, no. Well, that was just never going to work once they'd found that stride. Oh dear. Now, obviously with that, of course, the time you can't really compare, but I think when he crosses the line at 67.65, had that not happened, well, you use your imagination. It's one of those if-onlys from the point of view of Alvaro, because he was motoring, to say the least. He was flying along. Well, next to go, it's the turn of Philip Schulze-Tophoff, of course, the German rider who is tonight riding Carla NRW, and was he 27 years of age now? Because it wasn't that long ago. Was it 2021, wasn't it, when he won the World Cup leg here in Coruña? And tonight, though, with Carla NRW, this 12-year-old mare by Com Il Faut. He had a win with this horse in a very similar sort of class to this in Stuttgart at the German Masters. And that was their last outing. He'll fancy his chances tonight. Got 20 seconds. Did a good job getting over to the right-hand side of the fence. Got a lovely stride as he turned back. Played sensible to the parallel. Then he got the turn. He landed short. 66.85. The clock is ticking. And he's going to be just over. But that is into third at 67.58. So within a second of the lead. And of course it's only good enough to go third. I mean, it's a superb round, and that is a cracking place to be in third. But as I said, he's got 7/10 away. Matt Sampson just, what, 3/10 away from the lead. So Matt holding on to second. Philip Schulze-Tophoff goes third. Wilma Helmström drops into fourth. But Armando Trabate and his beautiful Tornado is still leading the way. Next to go, we return to Spain, and it's Ivan Serrano. Now, 12 months ago, Ivan finished third here in the Grand Prix in Coruña. Best placed Spanish rider. Of course, there were Spanish riders on the podium. Oh, no. Well, I was about to say Spanish riders on the podium in both the Grand Prix and the World Cup last year. But there will not be an Ivan Serrano in the top three here tonight. Disappointing from his side. Rain Man, the 15-year-old by Chaco Blue. Time penalties to add to the jumping as he goes over the final fence. 13 it is as a final score for that combination from Spain. Ivan Serrano Sierra and Rainman. We're going to jump 4 more, at which point we will have hit the halfway mark, and there will be a short pause for a little bit of arena maintenance. There is scheduled a 7-minute break, just for those of you looking as to when you want to go and put the kettle on or make yourself a drink. Rodrigo Castella Meira goes next. GB Diamantina for the Portuguese star. Of course, he had that brilliant result in Stuttgart, wasn't it, where he was second and has put himself with a decent helping of points. This was a man as well that was here in the summer at the European Championships. He's been having a really solid run of results. He went to Krakow as well the other week, where he won the Grand Prix on another horse of his called Comme le Coeur. And of course, alongside his World Cup performance in Stuttgart, he also finished third with this horse in that 155 2-rounder. What a team he's got. And this is looking nice. He might not be fast enough for the lead, but he still jumps a lovely round. And once again, GB Diamantina is performing well. Of course, his super ride, Coruña, who's the second in the World Cup leg in Stuttgart, is another big name in his stable as well. But Diamantina, very, very nice indeed. And of course, he's got another lovely horse called Soledad, who's very quick. I mean, it's a super team of horses, and as I say, keep an eye out for Comme le Coeur as well, that won in Krakow in that Grand Prix, the ranking Grand Prix the other week. Now, Jesus Garmida Riva is next up. Spain go again. Callias, 14-year-old. Ooh, he didn't jump through the middle very well, and I think that was probably the right choice. He wasn't going to be on a very good stride. He landed quite short. Recovered well, jumped out the round nicely, but set off with one intention and unfortunately wasn't able to finish it. So Callias there, and Jesus finishing on a jumping and time combined of 26. And Madacho Party though still leading the way. Spain are in front as we edge up towards the halfway point. Matt Sampson sitting second, Philip Schulze top off in third. Now another chance for Italy, and it's Clara Pezzoli riding Japalou, the 11-year-old Calvaro stallion, out of a heartbreaker mare. Had a good round to pick up a top 5 in Verona last time out at the 5-star event in Italy, but has jumped some brilliant rounds previously with Lorenzo De Luca, because it's quite a new horse, I believe, to Clara. It's been one with Lorenzo that has put in some pretty solid performances on the global tour over the course of this year. And I think if you go back to the beginning of this year, stroke end of last year, this was a horse that was, I think first was, before Lorenzo, was Julien Epillard, and then Nadia Peter-Steiner even. But unfortunately, there's another that's found their way to an early-ish fence. Coming home with 17 as a final score. Again, it's a jumping time combined score, 80.80. The time allowed sits at 76, so picking up an additional penalty for each commenced second over that time allowed. One more to go before we take a little pause in proceedings. It's a combination from France next to go. It's Kevin Stout, number 24, with his beautiful mare Visconti du Tellemont, the now 16-year-old by Toulon. That was his championship ride here at the Europeans back in the summer. Of course, also took him to 4th place at the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup final in Basel back in April, and today starts off by having the first fence down. But that is the way this sport can go on occasions. Of course, last time out he jumped this horse in Stuttgart, finished in 4th in the World Cup leg. Sitting at the moment in the top 10 when he starts on Sunday in terms of points for the Western European League. Not having the easiest of rounds. And over the final fence, does get to the finish, but again picks up time on top of jumping for Kevin and Visconti. So we're halfway through the Chiaxa Bank Trophy, the qualifier for the next leg of the Western European League's Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Series. And that means at the moment it is, at the break, Spain that lead a super round from Tornado and Armando Trapati, ahead of Latte Macchiato and Matt Sampson, who are also in fine form. Philip Schultz at top off, Carla sit third. The 1, 2, 3 is Spain, Great Britain and Germany. But there is still 24 combinations to start out. It is far from done, with over 100,000 euros worth of prize money. We're going to take a short pause and come back in about 5-6 minutes time. A little bit of arena maintenance, and we go again live on FEI TV.
Reanudamos la prueba, trofeo CaixaBank. Armando Trapote, el español líder, por delante de Matthew Samson, Philipp Schulte-Tophoff, Wilma Hellström y Robert Whittaker.
There's the order at the moment. Armando Trapote still leading the way. As we know at the break, the halfway mark sees the Spanish Star and his horse Tornado leading ahead of Matt Sampson for Spain, Great Britain, and then Germany's Philipp Schulte-Tophoff in third. Let's get back underway. Back with Spain, and Jesus Bamonde is the next to go with AGR Troublemaker. Now, this action breaker gelding is 11 years of age and it's part of Spain's Nations Cup team that finished fourth on home soil down in Villa de Frontera back in October. In fact, he's had a few Nations Cup outings this year, including the Longines EEF final that took place in Avanches back in September. There is a fast pace required this evening. 9 combinations have delivered a clear so far. Still, though, 24 of them to come. This is one of 4 in there for Spain. He's sort of just riding a little bit off balance. He sort of tipped his body weight towards the first part of that combination. Finishes on a total of jumping and time combining at 15 and 78.98 for Jesus Bamonde there, an AGR Troublemaker. So no such luck on this particular round. More chances, as I mentioned, though, to come for the Spanish riders. So Spain, they're pretty happy at the moment, leading the way. So that's how it is. Now it's the turn of Great Britain once more, and this is Joe Stockdale. Joe with e-banking, this lovely E-Toulon stallion of Barbara Hester's and Laura Stockdale's. This is out of a VDL Sheraton mare, and of course this is the fabulous ride that he jumped that brilliant double clear on in Calgary to help Great Britain to the win in the Nations Cup in Spruce Meadows, one of the biggest Nations Cups of the year, and then went on and finished second more recently in the Grand Prix in Oslo back in October. E-banking. Certainly pushing on. Tremendous scope in the middle of the combination. Lovely balance and able to shorten up and get that nice tight inside turn. Joe Stockdale's flying here. Feeling full of confidence at the moment. This is going to be tight, 66.85. He's got one more left to jump. Is it to be? The British rider over the last, and 67.64. Look at that. 0.79 of a second away from the leading time, and it goes fourth. It is unbelievably tight at the top. There's a second between 5 of them at the moment up there, and Joe goes fourth. So what have we got? 2 Brits now, Matt Sampson, Joe Stockdale, second and fourth. Armando Chapote still there leading the way. Here's another British chance, though. His best friend has been drawn alongside him, or one of his best friends. I mean, these two, though, have got a great relationship, have Joe and Jack, and Jack Whittaker now with the lovely Jack JL. And, of course, this has become some ride for Jack. Talking of Joe helping Great Britain to win a Nations Cup in Spruce Meadows, Jack helping Great Britain to win the final leg of the Longines League of Nations in Saint-Tropez, and Gassin with this horse has proved to be quite some stallion of Candice Riley's by Quasimodo Z. And it's lovely to see Jack with such a superb quality horse, which has really got him back up, able to compete in the very biggest of classes and certainly show his talent. It's not going to be as quick as that little leading group, though. But I suspect Jack is looking a little bit forward. There's big money tomorrow. There's even bigger money on Sunday. It's a huge weekend of sport, and Jack, I think, just making sure that Jack, it's so confusing having a Jack and a Jack, but we'll go with it. I think just making sure that his horse Jack is just feeling quite settled and confident. I think he'll be pleased enough with that. He's picked up a couple of time penalties, 77-37, but he leaves the fencer standing on that horse's the scope that you need. Right turn now to Ana Julia Contillo, who had a superb performance to finish in the top 6 a little bit earlier on here today. Very impressive round from the lady from Finland. Riding here with Kayadina, this 11-year-old mare by Chiado. Didn't have a huge number of 150s behind them, but they've certainly jumped in 3 or 4 of them. And that's gone. With the fences down, just taking the slightly wider lines. Well, jumping in time for them combined to a total of 11:78.59 for the Finnish challenge here this evening. A couple of chances coming the way of the Irish now, and Dennis Lynch is the first of those, and his long-time friend and partner, Brooklyn Heights. This 16-year-old gelding by Nabarderev out of a pleasure mare. Dennis, who's always seemingly gone quite well here. He's a former winner of the Grand Prix, won that in 2019 In fact, he was second as well back in the first five-star year in 2014. Very competitive rider, and he's pushing, you would have thought, from the beginning. How quick's this going to end up being? As we now know, those top 5 times are awfully tight. If you're a second out, you can drop down the order quite a long way. He's going to be a little bit more than a set when he's had the last down. Just flattened off slightly over that last, unfortunately. Brooklyn Heights finishes on 4, 71.90. Would have gone 9th, but instead goes into 16th place and adds to the ever-growing list of 4s. But there are 10 still clear rounds at the moment. 10 clears, 19 to go. Next to go, France. In fact, I mentioned that Dennis won the Grand Prix here in Coruña back in 2019. Of course, there was no show in 2020 for obvious COVID reasons. And then in 2021, when we all came back, this man won the Grand Prix, Simon Delestre. Gatsby du Tillard is the ride this evening. This 9-year-old stallion by President. Finished 3rd in that 155 with this horse in Verona. Had a top 5 finish as well in Rabat and the Longines Global Champions Tour, and of course he's been going rather well on that all season, including that podium in Prague. Still quite a new horse to him though. Came in as part of his lineup really at the beginning of the autumn. But Simon does such a fabulous job at producing these horses. Coming back on that inside to the jump. He's not been hanging around. 66.85. He knows he stands a chance. He's really begun to push towards the last. Where's the clock? So 1.67 away. 68.52. Goes into 6th place. He's a fraction by 2/10 faster than Robert Whittaker. So the Brit will drop to 7th place. But yeah, Simon Delestre up into the top 6 and the second of the clears for France. Superb effort, but again it shows just how on it you've got to be from start to finish to get yourself in the mix. Next to go, we're going to stay with France, and it's Olivier Robert. Olivier actually won this class back in 2018 on the Friday night in Casas Novas. He's got his 12-year-old gelding by Quasimodo tonight. This is Iglesias DV. It's been a good team horse as well for France in the likes of recent times, Bruce Meadows and Barcelona. Also jumped at Hickstead on the Nations Cup team this year. He won the Grand Prix back in June in Deauville. Keeps it clear. 2 seconds down, drops into 8th, just behind Robert Whittaker, but that's another clear round. It's another clear round for France. Olivier Robert starting well with Inglesias, 68.86. Give or take 100th of a second. That is only 2 seconds, as we can see, away from Armando Topati's leading time. Still the Spanish star with Tornado is out in front at the moment. So is anyone going to catch Tornado VS and Armando at the top of the order? 66.85. This man is sure to try, but it's a brand new ride for Mikey Pender. Ireland's chance again. HHS Okadi. This is a horse that's been ridden more recently by and produced by Molly Hughes Bravo, of course, all part of the same team with the Bravo Hughes team. Miguel Bravo and Marion Hughes, who of course Michael's been based and riding for and with now for so many years, and so successfully as well. Only 9 years of age, this mare by Leroy. And he is just such a naturally forward, fluent rider. Couldn't get that. He's asking plenty to get out over that spread. The mare unfortunately just catches the back rail.
Costó el triple a esta joven y prometedora yegua, no acostumbrada a este nivel, habitualmente montada por Molly Hughes, y que ha hecho una muy buena prueba con solo 4 puntos con el irlandés Michael Pender, 70.43.
Just finishing on the floor, it is forward 70.43, 17th spot for Mikey Pender of Ireland, HHS Oshidi.
Este alemán, ganador de 3 finales de la Copa del Mundo, ha ganado 2 Copas del Mundo en Madrid. Monta Priam Duroset, es Marcus Enin.
Germany now, and the 3-time World Cup champion. He's won medals for gold through Olympics, Worlds and Europeans, and full winner of a host of Longines World Cups, including in Spain in Madrid. This, the 40-year-old by Block Blue, is Priam Duroset from Marcus Enin of Germany.
So Priam Duroset, of course, this lovely horse now 14. And Marcus full of confidence with her, or I should say with him. Bronze for the team in the summer with Coolio here in Coruña. And tonight just misses out on the top 10. as he goes into 11th, 71.63 on the clock for Marcus Enning as the clear rounds now begin to rise. And lucky for Marcus, that was the 13th clear of the class. It was a good week for Germany back in July. Of course, with Richard Vogel actually not here this week. Of course, he's been out in the States, but Richard, of course, winning the European Championship for Germany here. Next to go, we look back to another big chance then for the Spanish crowd, as it's the turn of Eduardo Alvarez Asnar. Now this Kavita van der Bishop, this 9-year-old by Viga de Sui, they've been stepping up and jumping rather well, put in some pretty decent rounds in Prague, also jumped quite well in Rabat. Of course, been busy on the Longines Global Champions Tour. And this is a horse that's shown a lot of quality all season, including picking up a top 6 finish in Aachen back in July. Not to be, I thought that fence would cause more issues than it has tonight, but it's jumped rather well. He finishes his round, but unfortunately, as you can see, it's a total of 8 for Eduardo Alvarez Asnar, one of the home favourites here with this Spanish crowd, but at least they know they've still got a Spanish rider leading the way as it currently stands. So that is how it is at the minute. Next to go, it is the turn of Germany's Christian Ullmann. Christian and the beautifully named Blueberry. This is the mare by Conrad. Blueberry doesn't jump every week. Blueberry's got to have that nice win in the ranking class at Arezzo back in the spring, and more recently jumped rather well in Dublin as part of the team for Germany, then went on and finished 4th in the Grand Prix in Dublin, and then had a bit of a break after Dublin and then came back in Stuttgart where they had a top 3 finish. Christian, who was 3rd here in the Grand Prix back in 2023. Nicely done. That's unfortunate. Well, he does have that one fence, and that is a final time of 70.66, so not tonight for Christian. Plenty more still to come, and still another chance for Germany left in the draw as well, because Daniel Deusser to come. I mean, the lineup for the next 3 riders. Michael van der Velden, Henrik von Eckermann and Daniel Deusser. I mean, there's still the likes of Julian Epinard, Yuri Mansur. I mean, there is so many stars here. It's all the big names are in town. Now, Michael already having had a win a little bit earlier on here this evening. Opening 5-star class went his way. Now he's got Jester, this 11-year-old Cardento stallion. think I'm right in saying is still relatively new in terms of Michael's lineup of horses. I'm sure this is a horse that we've seen a lot of Harry Schmolders and Bas Moorings in recent times. There's a horse of a lot of quality. Michael did jump in Maastricht with Jester. Nice clear round, and Michael then 73.20 on the clock. Yes, steady, but yes, clear. And now we're up to 14 of them as Michael goes into 13th place. But as I said, he's already put a win on the board today. With that still being a new horse, I think that was always the aim of the game. I'm sure there'll be one simple aim for these two. Well, I'd be surprised if there wasn't, because it's the turn of Henrik von Eckermann and the beautiful mare that has been such a star partner to Henrik, Glamour Girl. What is he able to do this evening? We wait to see. Yes, of course. Well, number one for so many runs. He's dropped, of course, in the rankings in recent time, but this man could turn a win on any given class on any given day. And you know that these two have just natural pace. There's not many horses who can say they've got, what, about 46 international wins. The way she can accelerate and the way Henrik has got this ability just to go with her and be so balanced, it makes her so quick. And that time of 66.85 is surely going to fall if he can get the turn back to the last, because Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl are putting on an absolute masterclass. And that is exactly what they've done. We were talking tenths. It becomes 2.5 seconds as Henrik von Eckermann could well have just put this class out of reach of everyone still to come, we'll see. But that was brilliant. Those two at their best, absolute best. 64.34, complete class from start to finish. And it's, you know, it is just, you know how they're going to go. You know they're going to try when they come in. Well, it's just so nice to enjoy. Next to go, another of the stars of the sport, and another, of course, rider that, of course, has already won a leg of the Western European League this season. There's the new order. As I said, it was close. It's not so close anymore. 64.34. Daniel Deusser, Tele de Guggenblum, is next up. And, of course, Daniel, who had the win in the World Cup with this horse in Verona. But we should remember that it wasn't just the World Cup leg that he won. He also had the win on the opening day of the show as well in Italy. So I mean, he's got quite some standard to now try and beat. But Daniel is another that you would rarely bet against. This stallion of the Stefex team, Stefex Stables, is by Tobago Z. And is out of it now, though, with that fence going down, sadly. Just not able to get to the other side of the parallel. Not tonight, 69.39. Keep an eye on them over the weekend, though. Daniel's here to pick up points and pick up big points, you would have thought, as he continues to press ahead. Once you've got a win on the board, then you keep going, of course, and you want to try and score as high as you can. And he's sitting fourth at the moment on the overall standings in the Western European League. It is still early. And of course, 13 different rounds of the season. I mean, they have to count the best 7 scores over the season. Right, next to go, it's Italy. And this is Antonio Maria Galafolo riding Karim Sandi. Now, I remember watching these two jumping in Lyon, where they twice finished in the top 6 over the course of 2 days. Both in 150 classes, 6th and 5th. He was in great form there. Owned by Paul Chocomol. Can the Italian reproduce the sort of form we saw in Lyon? This is now 11-year-old gelding by London out of a Sandro Boy mare. First of the final 10 to go. Well, he's got away with rattling 1 or 2 of them so far, but they're all still standing. It's just not quite fast enough to get into that little mix of sub 70 times, I don't think. Oh, he's got deep and he's had it down. Last has gone, unfortunately, for those two. Antonio, bad luck. Karim Sandi getting into the last and picking up 471.47 would have gone into, what, 11th, but it's instead drops to 23rd. Have a fence that it cost you dear. He's not the only one, though, to have got to the last and had it down. This not done yet, although Hendrik van Eckerberg has done all he can to put it out of the reach of all of those left. We will see. Next to go, it is the turn of one of the fastest in the sport, in Julien Epillard. World number 9 has Akalita LS. This mare is 12, and she is by Clearway. They had a win together just about a month ago in Saint-Lô. They won the Grand Prix. And again, rare to rule out Julien Epillard. The only thing, and this is a horse that's still, I mean, relatively new in his team. I'm pretty sure this was Simon Deles's horse until somewhere in the middle of the summer. He is not going to let Henrik off the hook. Oh, too close. Damn. He was a man on a mission. Sadly, on the score of 4. At this pace, he'll prove a point that he was still pretty quick. He's the fastest on 4, unsurprisingly. 66.36 would have put him second, but he unfortunately, there you have it. 17th is the cost of a fence falling for Julien Epillard and Akalita LS. There's plenty more to come from those two. That is a horse that he feels confident to scamper, but he just wasn't in the right place when he took off. He was just too deep. You get too far off and you end up struggling with the middle part. What about this man? He's also no slouch. He's really not that many slow riders here, are there? What about Luxembourg's Victor Bettendorf with Doha de Riverland, the gelding by Nababdarev. These two having a very good win in Rome in the 150 on the global tour. They jumped brilliantly after that in Valencia. This is going to get... Oh, he has had a fence down, hasn't he? He's had it down, and unfortunately, he's at the last as well. Because he crosses the line in a final time of 67.40, which would have put him up into third. But sadly, two down Doha de Riverland and Victor Bettendorf. But 10 out of 10 for effort. I mean, right from the moment he cut the angle and jumped over to the right on the opening fence, it was going well up until that moment there. And then the final two fences add to the score. 7 to go. And it's the turn now of Brazil's Yuri Mansur. Yuri, of course, is flying high on the Western European League at the moment, having had that second place in Oslo, and he picked up another big helping of points in Stuttgart. He's actually sitting second behind Richard Vogel. So of the riders that start on Sunday on the World Cup leg, he'll actually be the rider that sits highest of them as it stands. And he's riding a horse that the Spanish crowd will probably know quite well, because it's a former horse ridden by Mariano Martinez Bastida, who rode this horse at the European Championships here. And then the ride went to Yuri. Now, Mariano had a cracking season, including that fourth place finish in Cannes in the Global Grand Prix. These two still looking for that big result, but things are coming together rather nicely, but taking it day by day. Mr. Jupp, this gelding by Carrera VDL. Finishes on the fork, but it's a steady time as well. But like I said, it's still a case of just continuing to build that relationship between the two of them. 6 more left. Henrik von Eckermann, Amanda Tapote, Matt Sampson. It is Sweden, Spain and Great Britain, the 1, 2, 3 at the moment. We've still got 2 to go for Spain, 1 to go for Austria, 1 for France, 1 for Belgium and 1 for Australia. Let's go to Spain, and one of their best in Sergio Alvarez Moya. His horse this evening is this 8-year-old stallion by Comme Il Faut called Call Me. Again, has really been coming through rather nicely, this 8-year-old, over recent shows and recent weeks, stepping up through the heights over the course of the back end of the summer, really getting to grips with those bigger classes. Turning back into the final fence. He might pick up time. He is going to pick up time, unfortunately. But he's jumped the fences clear. And like I said, 8-year-old still stepping through, but stepping well. 79.06, so those 4 all coming from the clock. Nothing in terms of the jumping. But of course, therefore, will drop right down the order because you're going to be the slowest of those on 4. Next to go is Max Kuna. World number 23, currently the 10-year-old mare that he's riding is Count on Me 19 by Cascadello. Jumped very well in Verona. Fair has been jumping well for Max over the course of this season. He had a solid performance as well when he was out in Spruce Meadows back in September. But he's really coming through, this horse. Max is again got a pretty solid record here. He was 3rd back in 2022 in the World Cup leg. He was 2nd in the World Cup leg in 2023. He's finished on the podium on several occasions in the Grand Prix as well. Not rushing. Has had the fence, will pick up the time, has the last to double up in terms of jumping, but it's 8 plus 2 for 10. Max Kuna, Count on Me 19. Leaves us just 4 to go. Henrik van Eckermann sitting pretty at the top at the moment on that clear round time of 64.34, with Glamour Girl is still the round to beat. Amanda Trapante, though, still sitting in 2nd on Tornado. And then in 3rd place, the British rider Matt Sanson with Latte Macchiato, holding on to 3rd. Next to go is Olivier Peru, GL Events de Roi de Guilly, his Olympic ride from Paris last year. And, of course, his winning ride from Lyon when he had that fabulous moment to win at home. And it really was a home win in so many ways with the GL Events de Roi de Guilly in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Leg 2 of this season. Actually, then the horse has had a little bit of downtime. Now coming back here to Coruña. 12-year-old mare by Canan. Sadly also picking up 4 in the middle of the combination. Should be good on the clock in terms of not worrying about time, but GL Events de Roi de Guilly and Olivier Peru finish on a score of 4, which leaves us just 3 to go. Van Eckermann edging ever closer. Now Belgium, then Australia, and Spain still to come forward. So it is Belgium, Peter de Vos, part of Belgium's gold medal winning team here at the European Championships in La Coruña back in July. Now with the homebred Primo DV, the 10-year-old gelding by Vigor Sui, who had a pretty decent run of results over the course of the rounds on the Global Tour in Rabat and in Riyadh. He had that top 4 finish in the Longines Global Champions Tour of Rabat in Morocco in the middle of October. It's a shame. Well, they finish on the 4, that earlier fence falling. It was fence 6 that went down, so 4 then for Peter de Vos. 74.23 is the time. 2 to go. What have we got? 15 of them that have gone clear. And it's still Henrik von Eckermann leading the way. He's edging over closer, isn't he? We'll see what happens. Lest we forget that this lady, of course, is a 2-time winner, back-to-back winner as well. 2017, 2018, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup of A Coruña went the way of Australia and Edwina Tops Alexander. Tonight she has the long-time partner, 15-year-old now, gelding by Jatin Flamenco, called Fellow Castlefield. Top 6 finished this season in Shanghai on the global tour in the Grand Prix. Not going to challenge in terms of time, but again, just putting together a really nice performance, looking towards the days ahead. In on the clock, jumps it clear. That's another 0 to the board now. 16 of them that have seen the clear round graphic come up, and there is now just 1 to go. So well done to Edwina Tops Alexander there, Fellow Castlefield. And it is either going to be Spain or Sweden that come out on top here on day 1. 105,500 euros worth of prize money is about to be decided, because the last to go is Manuel Fernandez Saro and Esilis Dumensnil. It's Spain up last for this 11-year-old gelding by Classic Bois Margot. It would be some story if he was to change the order, but at the moment it is very much looking like it's Henrik's class. And it is indeed Henrik's class, because not only has he gone down, he's had to turn a circle as well. And the order locks in as problems come the way of Manuel Fernandez Saro. We'll come to the full and final order in a moment or two, but as you can see, the team just out there putting things back up. And I don't know whether he's going to continue or retire, but I think he's retired. My gut feeling says I just sure he's signalled. And that is indeed the end of the Kiaksa Bank qualifier for that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup leg on Sunday. And it has gone the way of Henrik van Eckermann. Congratulations to Henrik. A quite brilliant performance. It really was superb. Glamour girl at her very, very best. Well done to Amanda Toponti. Tornado VS giving Spain a second place here tonight with that long-time partnership. And then the superb performance of Matt Sampson, Latte Macchiato, the 12-year-old that is becoming quite some partner in crime for Matt, the British rider, taking third. Felix Schulze top off. Carla NRW will pick up fourth. Joe Stockdale, another cracking round on the beautiful E-Banking to take fifth ahead of Ilma Helmström and Cici BJN to move into sixth come the finish. It's been a super class, and it really was some winning round, and we've got so much great sport coming your way here over the weekend. 2 5-star classes, of course, live tomorrow, including the big Grand Prix. Then Phil and the team will be here on Sunday afternoon to take you through that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup leg as well. It has been a super start to Casas Novas' winter edition of 2025. Looking forward to tomorrow. I hope you can be with us then. In the meantime, I will leave you enjoy the presentation, and I'll take a pause and see you tomorrow. Thank you for being with us on FEI TV.
Pues ya están ante ustedes los mejores de este trofeo CaixaBank, la prueba más importante de la primera jornada de este Internacional de Casas Novas de Invierno 2025. 4 grandes jinetes y un vencedor. Un jinete que, como les decía cuando salió a pista, ha sido durante muchísimos meses número 1 del ranking mundial. Lo ha sido todo y hoy ha vuelto a demostrar porque es uno de los mejores jinetes del mundo desde hace muchísimo tiempo. Ganador con Glamour Girl. Por favor, un fuerte aplauso para el sueco Henrik von Eckermann. En honor del vencedor suena el himno nacional de Suecia. Sonó el himno de Suecia en honor del gran Henrik von Eckermann y don Juan Pedro Badiola, director territorial de la zona norte de CaixaBank, que dirige al ganador para felicitarle y para entregarle el trofeo. Don Juan Pedro Badiola, con el trofeo, entregándoselo al ganador de la prueba más importante del día, el trofeo para Henrik von Eckermann. Triunfo para Suecia, triunfo para Henrik von Eckermann, segundo clasificado, mejor jinete español del trofeo CaixaBank. El aplauso, por favor, para Armando Trapote. Flora Pérez, en representación de Casas Novas, se dirige a felicitar al jinete español, segundo clasificado de la prueba. Y ahora por el tercero, el aplauso, por favor, para el británico Matthew Samson, que montó al latte macchiato. Y el aplauso también para el cuarto, el alemán Philipp Schulze-Tophoff, que ha montado a Carla. Los 4 mejores del trofeo CaixaBank han recibido trofeos, han recibido felicitaciones y ahora van a escuchar, sin duda, sus palmas y sus aplausos en la vuelta de honor. La vuelta de honor de los mejores del trofeo CaixaBank. Ahí está Henrik von Eckermann, que ha dado otro recital aquí en Casas Novas con Glamour Girl. Segundo el español Armando Trapote, que montó a Tornado. Matthew Samson, tercero. Cuarto clasificado, un jinete al que se le da muy bien, La Coruña, Philipp Schulze-Tophoff. Y ahí está el ganador para la segunda vuelta. Es la última ovación del día. Que se note ese aplauso, por favor, de La Coruña para el sueco Henrik von Eckermann. Cerramos aquí la primera jornada del concurso. Gracias a todos por su presencia. Mañana más y esperemos que mejor.